Most business owners feel out of control, constantly reacting, putting out fires, and unsure of what to focus on because everything feels so damn important. And that used to be me as well, until I built this simple system that shows me what to work on first, even when everything feels important. And the system doesn't just work for me. I've helped countless 6, 7, and 8-figure business owners at selfmastery.co use it to prioritize better and take back control of their business so that they can scale with freedom. So in this video, I'm going to show you that exact system and how you can use it in your business to make business easy. Let's dive in. Most entrepreneurs think business is hard because they're drowning in work and don't have enough time, or because they haven't hired enough people, or because their team isn't executing well enough, or because the market is in a tough position. But that's not the real problem. The real problem is you're trying to run a business without a system that tells you what matters most. Because nothing makes business harder than every single thing feeling important and not knowing what to work on first. So every day becomes a game of reacting and putting out fires. You give everything equal weight and then focus on what's urgent, not what is important. That means fixing a broken automation feels just as important as hiring a new sales rep or building a new marketing campaign. Replying to a DM feels just as urgent as following up with a high-ticket lead. Jumping on a team check-in just feels as important and as vital as writing a sales page that could double your conversion rate. And that's how you get stuck. That's why business feels hard, and it's why you end up working all day but closing the laptop at night and feel like you've got nothing done. So let's simplify it. If you want to build a business that makes business easy and helps you know what to work on even when everything feels important, you first need to understand what actually grows a bloody business. So let's approach it from first principles. How do you grow a business? Well, simply you need to make more money. How do you make more money? Well, you need more customers. How do you get more customers? Well, you need to get your offer, the thing you sell, in front of more of the right people. And so if we look at business through the lens of what you need to do in order to grow it, at its core, business only needs two things. It only needs something to sell and someone to sell it to. That is it. Everything else is either infrastructure or distraction. And so if we're trying to grow your business, you should be spending the majority of your time, if not all of it, on getting your offer in front of more people, turning those people into customers, and increasing your delivery capacity so you can serve more people well, which leads us to the foundation of the system that makes business easy. You see, every business, no matter the size or niche, only has 2 to 3 non-negotiable tasks. Tasks that are essential for keeping the engine running. Those tasks are a marketing task to generate leads, a sales task to convert leads into customers. Now, depending on your business, you might not have a sales task, as if, for example, you run an e-commerce brand and people just land on your website to buy, you don't actually have to do any work to get the sale. So you don't have a sales task. But if you have to do the likes of a sales call, then yes, you do have a sales task. Finally, we have a fulfillment task. This is the task you do to deliver the product or service. They're quite literally the only tasks that are essential in business. Literally just them, nothing else is essential, because think of it this way, right? If you only did your marketing, your sales, and your fulfillment tasks, your business would still exist, it would still run, and it would still grow. But if you stopped doing any of them, your business would fall apart. And so they're essential and they're non-negotiable. Now, depending on your business stage and your team size, you might still be doing these tasks yourself, or you might have them, delegated. If you do not have them delegated, they are your responsibility and your most important tasks every single day, because if you're not doing them, you quite simply don't have a bloody business. But also, most founders think they need 5 marketing tasks, like cold DMs, ads, content, flyers, and everything else. They think they need 3 sales funnels and 6 delivery systems. And so they overcomplicate their business, trying to do more, thinking that doing more will create faster progress. But the truth is, it fucking doesn't, because let's say you're doing for marketing cold outreach, ads, and content. You're so spread thin that you'll never be able to put the time and effort into a single marketing channel to actually figure out what works in that channel and therefore to grow. And so none of them work because you're so spread thin. The truth is, until you're at 7 figures and have a team, you don't need variety. You need clarity and repetition. And what that really means is you need 1 marketing task, not 5. You need 1 sales task, not 3. 1 fulfillment task, not 8. Now, obviously, if your marketing task is, say, content, creating a YouTube video has multiple sub-steps like title, thumbnail, scripting, editing, etc. So each of your major 2 to 3 non-negotiable tasks can obviously have, subtasks, sub-steps, but you should only have 1 major task in each of those areas until you're at 7 figures. Obviously, the goal with those tasks tasks is to eventually delegate or outsource them so you can get out of the day-to-day of your business and start focusing on the higher leverage asymmetric tasks. If you've already them delegated, great, you don't have to worry about them. But if you haven't, the goal should be to, over time, delegate them, especially with the likes of fulfillment, because fulfillment, while it's essential and is a massively important task and system to dial in and to do it at an elite level, it quite simply just doesn't grow the business. It sustains it. It protects the brand. It delivers a promise, but it doesn't actually bring in new revenue, which means once it's systemized and once you have the capital, you should be delegating it as soon as possible. And once your non-negotiables are consistently done every single day without fail, either by you or a team member, your focus shifts to what I call strategic actions. These are the one-time projects that have asymmetric upside. Projects that take time up front but continue paying you back for weeks, months, or even years. For example, building a new lead magnet and an automated email funnel, launching a VSL that converts better with cold traffic, hiring, building systems. These are not recurring tasks. They're strategic bets. And at any given moment, you should only be focused on one. Not two, not three, one. Because look, it comes back to focus. The more you focus on one single thing, the more you progress and the more your progress compounds. And look, I tried to drive home the power of focus so much because I used to hear myself, people say, oh yeah, you need to focus and go all in on one thing to truly get results. And I'd hear them and I'd think, yeah, that's true. But I would continue to try and focus on 3 different things and I got fucking nowhere. It wasn't until I truly actually started taking the advice and started focusing on one thing that things changed for me. If you want more detail on strategic actions, how to use them, plan them, and execute on them using a super simple tool that I've built for my clients at selfmastery.co, I will leave a link to a video breaking that tool down at the end of this one. But now that you understand what actually matters in business, this brings us to the system itself. If you want to make business easy, you need a simple, repeatable process to decide what to work on every single day. Because nothing makes business harder than every single thing feeling important and not knowing what to work on first. And it starts the night before. So every evening, you want to ask yourself this question: what is the single most important task I can do tomorrow to grow the business? That becomes your MIT, your most important task. Now, if you're still running your non-negotiables, your MIT is one of those tasks. Likely, it's probably marketing, but it could be any of those tasks. If they're delegated and team members do your non-negotiables, your MIT is the next step in your current strategic action. And so you want to do your MIT first. You want to do it before email, before Slack, before anything reactive. You want to block 90 to 120 minutes and do it in deep work with no distractions. It is your most important task, so it should be done first. You then want to ask yourself, is there anything literally stopping you from doing your MIT? And I mean quite literally stopping you. If there is, you do that task or that thing first. And then most importantly, firefighting comes last. What I mean is, you see any messages, problems, emails, questions, issues that pop up throughout the day, they all wait until the final hour of the day, and what at selfmastery.co, links in the description by the way, we call the daily wrap. It is the last hour of your workday, and it's when you handle every single problem that pops up throughout the day. Because the truth is, right, almost nothing in business is so urgent it can't wait a few hours, because 99% of urgent things are not important. That's a big distinction. And therefore they should not derail your schedule and stop you from working on what will actually grow your business. Like 80% of your time should be spent on things that grow the business, not problems and not emails. And when you treat every fire as important, as a must solve this now, you burn your focus, your energy, and your fucking freedom. So instead, what we want to do is compartmentalize that chaos. You want to handle it after you've done the work that moves the business forward. This means you're not ignoring it, right? You're not leaving it, you're not abandoning it, you're just doing it when you choose to do it, not when it pops up. And that way you get more time, you get more freedom, and you actually get to do what grows the bloody business, so that when you close the laptop at the end of the day, you feel proud of yourself, you feel useful, and you've made progress, okay? Because look, if you want to take back control of your business, you have to start taking control. This is one of the ways you do that. You don't let things control you, you control them. And this entire system, look, it's built on one core principle. You do less, but you do it better. Because when most business owners feel stuck, they tend to try and add more tasks, more tactics, more channels, more whatever. But what I found both in my own business and through working with countless 6, 7, and 8-figure business owners is that adding more is rarely the solution. In fact, it always makes things worse. Because you're not stuck because you're doing too little. You're stuck because you're doing too much of the wrong things. The game of business is not to do everything, it's to figure out the few things that actually matter and do them relentlessly. And I can promise you this, okay? If you simply execute your 2 to 3 non-negotiable tasks every day, progress one strategic action at a time, choose and complete one MIT every morning first thing, then you will create more progress in the next 90 days than most entrepreneurs make in a fucking year. And business, most importantly, will stop feeling hard. But of course, a big factor here is your strategic actions, knowing what, when, and how to do those asymmetric projects. So if you want to get a tool to help you with them that I normally keep for my clients at selfmastery.co, click this video on screen now, I'll give you the tool and I'll show you how to use it.